Hi, my name is Ward Stroud. Welcome to vlog number 2. We're gonna do a little painting today, a little travel, and there might be some cooking involved. Stick around. Do the intro in 3, 2, 1. Hi guys, hey, thanks for coming back. I'm glad you're here. Last week was my first vlog and I got a lot of love. Thank you so much. It was a lot of fun. I got some great comments, and you know, if you have any, I would love to hear them. Please leave them down below. If you got a minute, you can always do the like and subscribe thing, because that's how we keep this ship floating. One of the comments I got from people was for my painting friends that they'd like to see the painting slowed down. The reason I do the paintings at that speed is because I'm trying to fit a lot into a very short amount of time. I want to keep people's interest, and there are versions. I have several amazing DVDs on my website, artofward.com. And the good people down at Cheap Joe's are going to be distributing those same DVDs, and you can find that information. You can stream the DVDs right straight to your laptop or your notebooks. It's super easy to do, and they're amazing. They're filmed professionally, 3 camera angles. It's very nice. And now in the future, if there is a lot of interest, I may find a way to download the long versions of the videos, the paintings that I'm doing each week. And you can always use players to slow down the fast ones too. That's another workaround. So we'll work on that, but thank you for your comments. And like I said, if you have any suggestions, please let me know. This vlog is for you. I'm doing this for you. If you weren't there, I would not be doing this. I would probably be out painting somewhere, which is what I'm gonna be doing right now. All right, I'll talk to you soon. Peace. Oh, let me say this very clearly. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. All right, bye-bye. All right, so here we are. We are going to paint a great white heron today. I begin this by simply wetting the background. I want a very diffused foliage, soft space for this wonderful bird to live in. So by adding water first, I'm going to be able to get that very bokeh kind of effect for the foliage. The star of the show is definitely going to be this high contrast bird. So by adding in Janet's Rose Violet and Andrew's Turquoise, I'm going to use these as kind of my mother colors. They'll set the tone of the whole painting. This is American Journey Watercolor. It's wonderful, wonderful paint. And sometimes it helps pick it up, tip it just a little bit, just to get some movement. I'm going to let some of the paint just run in together as I add these darks, splatters with ultramarine, and then I mix some ultramarine with burnt sienna to get the blacks. And I definitely wanted to put some areas of more high contrast. That's why I put the darks kind of in certain spots. Now the background is so wet right now that all the color that we put in is just going to diffuse. Notice I'm keeping the water softer and keeping the splatters up where I want the foliage to be. And then I add a little bit of red. I like heavy pigment if I want to stay in place a little bit more. So the red that I use is cad red. And there's some greens, and I mix my greens with Naples yellow and a little bit of cobalt. Now here I'm just taking a dry brush and going around and adding shapes to the splatters that I put in earlier, kind of so one bush goes back and another bush can come forward, but again very diffused. And
right there by taking a little water, dipping my fingers in the water bucket and just flicking them. I'm able to get some really beautiful texture in that background. But again, not in the water. In the water down below, I'm going to use a brush to add horizontals, and that will give that kind of nice soft wave look. Really a fun painting to do. I hope you'll give this a try. So I'm adding some shadows and some darker pieces. It needed a little more definition at the bottom, so I dropped in some more dark splatters and some more flicks of water. But now you can see I go across and soften the water again back horizontally. And this is really fun. I'm using a fan brush with thick paint turned on its side to make some of the bushes come forward, so you can see like the near foliage, give it just a little definition. And because the wash had dried just a little bit in places, that foliage kind of popped and came more defined. And here I'm using a flat brush to put some waves into the water. And now for the little scrubbing out, there are artifacts from the wash that got onto the white, so I'm just removing those now very carefully with the scrub brush. And then it's going to be time to put some details in, like the eyes. I'm doing kind of a fun thing here. I overpainted the beak with really dark colors, and then I took a tissue and just dabbed it off, so it was not too high contrast. And while this will dry much lighter than it looks right here, I'm adding darks underneath to give the bird some gravity, and then reflect those darks down into the water reflections, which puts it on the earth. There's no such thing as just white in nature, although this is a super high contrast image. So just a little bit of color in the whites there, and some more definition to the water, and little finishing touches. I really love the softness of this piece. There you have it, the Great White Heron. It's cooking time. We're going to make pinto beans today. The 3 C's of beans: cumin, chilies, and cinnamon. If you don't like spicy, you can use paprika for the chilies, but try to include all 3 of those. It's just magical. So I'm using pinto beans. I separated them all out, make sure there's no rocks and little particles in there. We're going to rinse it real good. And then the way you know you've got the right amount of water in your beans is if you put the beans in the pot, you fill the water up till you can take your pointer finger and touch the top of the beans, and the water comes up to your second knuckle. So be sure if you use an Instant Pot, you follow the manufacturer's instructions. It's a wonderful tool, but know how to use it. I will put links down below, or a description of the recipe, and try to guess the amounts. I pretty much just eyeball things. I know that I use about twice as much cumin as anything else, so I think you're pretty safe if you salt and pepper to taste, use the garlic and onions to taste, and you want to use just a little bit of olive oil. Makes it all super yummy. So the Instant Pot is so easy to use. It actually has a bean button. So I push the bean button. No need to soak the beans overnight. You throw the ingredients in there, add the spices, the olive oil, you turn it on, and 65 minutes later, you have a perfect pot of beans. Super yummy. So yeah, 65 minutes later, let the pot depressurize a little bit on its own for a few minutes. Once it's safe, I remove the lid. Oh, and the smell is just amazing. So good. Life is so good. Again, be careful with the Instant Pot and make sure you know how to operate it.
There you go. Beans. Yum. Salt, pepper. Something to drink. Sriracha. Alright, few things in the world I love more than homemade pinto beans. This is my go-to recipe and I have enjoyed this meal so many times with so many great friends. It's just magical. It's very humble and it's pretty much a staple of my world. I've done a lot of amazing things in my life. Making beans is one of my favorite and highest accomplishments. I hope you enjoy this. I hope you get a chance to make these beans this way. Yeah, just from my little Paintmobile kitchen to you. And until I see you guys again, peace. So grateful. Sriracha. So good. So good.